Cincinnati's Oldies Network.
WDJO, Cincinnati.
The following is a paid program. Its views and opinions are not necessarily those of this station or its management.
Good morning, and welcome to the Rock and Roll Real Estate Hour starring Gary Rossignol of RE/MAX Preferred Group. To be part of the program, dial 513-563-1480 to get your answers to questions about your home and property. That number again, 513-563-1480. Now, here's Gary.
Hey, welcome to MySpace on your radio. My name's Gary Rossignol, the Rock and Roll Realtor with RE/MAX Preferred Group, and your host every Saturday morning. We've been social distancing for 8 weeks and surviving here at WDJO, and we're still all about having fun, learning something important, and enjoying some good music.
Good music,
Good
absolutely.
music. This morning I have a longtime friend, a colleague, a musician, fellow musician, and top-notch insurance pro, the one, the only musical insurance guy in the world, Mr. Gary Rasmussen with Farmers Insurance. Hey.
Thank you very much.
You are the one and the only.
I'm the one and only.
You bet. No. We're not getting started quite yet.
Right.
Not until we give away some gift cards to Starbucks.
All right.
Our favorite coffee joint.
I could use some coffee right now.
And, well, yeah, I had to settle for iced coffee because the power went off right in the middle of my shower.
Oh,
Mary Jo heard a big bang outside the house.
Okay.
The transformer or something right on the street went, and we lost all our power. So no blow dryer, no coffee.
You look fine.
Well, thank you. I try. We do survive.
Yes, that's right.
So anyhow, guess this answer. Call 513-563-1480, and you can win yourself a free $10 gift card to Starbucks.
$10.
And you can do the drive-through.
Yes.
Absolutely. In 1983, Uptown Girl was a #1 hit. Who recorded it? Don't give it away.
Yeah.
You know the answer.
Yeah.
1983, Uptown Girl.
And you won't let me win, will you?
No. Who recorded Uptown Girl back in 1983? He made it very famous. He's a great musician, does a great show. Call us at 513-563-1480 and get yourself a $10 gift card to Starbucks. If you haven't won the past 60 days, you qualify for today's win.
Or if you're not sitting here.
That's right. Anyhow, well, we're going to have fun today. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff, and I invited Gary Rasmussen to come down here with me this morning because he is the one and the only musical insurance guy. And where did that come from? For those who haven't heard you, it's been since February. I mean, it's been 3 months since you've been here.
I guess it has been. So lots of musical involvements in the back. Grew up in a musical home. I'm married to the real musician.
Yeah.
My wife is a violinist and directs a youth orchestra and plays and teaches. And
you have a couple sons that play music?
Absolutely, yeah, rock band and, yes, various things. So anyway, my interests have been in the area of automatic antique musical instruments, where in my office, if you come into the office, you'll find a 1896 player reed organ in the lobby and a bunch of crank 'em up all sorts.
And your own very desk is a piano.
Yes, it
was a piano.
I used to buy and sell and rebuild pianos and tuned pianos, and then got into the restoration of antique player pianos.
Yeah.
So.
Now, to tune pianos, I mean, you have to be somewhat of a musician and have good ears to do that.
I think so, yeah.
I remember when I used to travel with concert groups, and we always had a grand piano on stage, and they'd tune it before every show, and they'd come in. They'd spend about 45 minutes tuning that piano.
Yep.
Getting it just perfect.
Just so.
Yeah. Then the trick was getting it amplified so it presented itself properly, and that was my job.
That's right. And now we're using electronic piano.
Oh, I know.
They stay in tune better.
It's crazy, yeah. I mean, Rick Schmidt, our keyboardist with Blue Sun Ivory, we still carry in that great big piece of furniture, the Hammond B3.
Yes.
With
That's
the Leslie
60s, 1960s,
He
I think.
bought it in 1960, and he still has it today, and we haul it around.
Well, that's the real thing, and I don't think you can ever really replace the acoustical sound of an acoustical instrument, whether it's your horn or a piano or whatever. Electronics has gotten pretty good, but it's never quite there.
He's got the little 30-pound electronic thing, which is a Hammond, and it's supposed to sound like a B3, but it's not the same thing.
Not the same.
It's close, but
doesn't have that horn that spins around. It's just a different thing.
Right. So, yeah, it's been since February you've been here, and, your very own Professor Burke says, at Farmers, we've seen almost everything, so we know how to cover almost anything.
That's exactly right.
Well, then we come up with the coronavirus.
Yeah.
So how does that change the face of your business?
Certainly has changed things significantly.
Let's go back about 8 weeks when things started happening. What was going on in your business, and how does it look today?
Well, hardly anybody's driving. Well, we're starting to come back out of things in just this past week.
Gas prices have gone up, yeah.
Yes, all of a sudden, 30 cents a gallon in the last couple of days, I think I saw.
Mm-hmm.
So all of a sudden, people are driving. But as a result, car insurance specifically is you pay premiums, and then when something bad happens, the premiums pay for your accident. That's the idea of insurance there. So because there's been drastically less people driving, there's been drastically less accidents, therefore, insurance companies can give back a whole bunch of money. Now, how much is the right amount? They have no idea. Total blatant guess. You got a 25% discount on your car insurance last month, and they figured in 15% for this month, and time will tell is how close they got.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, church festivals. I know our parish at St. Michael's, they just published in the bulletin that our festival, which is supposed to be the first week in June, is canceled. So, the bands that we're supposed to play there, they don't have a gig. Our festivals have been all canceled. We're still crossing our fingers that our June 11th gig at Keener Park happens. They're planning on that. Not June. They canceled June concerts, and the
Westchester people that are organizing.
Yeah, Westchester Township, and we're slotted for July the 11th at Keener Park. So mark that on your calendars, folks. I know you're going to be itching to get out there and hear some good live music. So Blue Sun Ivory is planning on being at Keener Park on July 11th.
Of course, that's a lawn type of a concert.
Mm-hmm.
Bring your chairs and socially distance however you want.
Right, exactly. Still waiting to hear if the casinos are going to open up. We're slotted on June the 5th at Miami Valley Gaming. We'll see if that happens.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's just a few weeks.
Which brings us to the insurance part. I mean, we've got our big truck, which is parked.
Yes.
Full of our gear. I'm not going to say where it's at, but we want to thank the VFW for allowing us to do that. But it isn't being driven, and so we talked a couple weeks ago about cutting our insurance back.
Cut back the insurance. It's not being driven, so we can make those adjustments.
What can we? I mean, because of COVID-19, we don't have the income coming in, and that's happening all over the world.
It's a domino effect all the way through.
But let's take a look at some perspective. I got this little thing. My friend at Omaha Mutual of Omaha, Mike Bowers, loan officer, he sent this out. And think about if you were born in 1900.
Which is exactly my grandparents.
On your 14th birthday, World War I starts and ends on your 18th birthday. 22 million people perish in that war. 22 million. Later in the year, a Spanish flu epidemic hits the planet and runs until your 20th birthday. 50 million people die in those 2 years.
Some people say that's what helped nuke World War I.
On your 29th birthday, the Great Depression begins, and employment hits 25%, and the GDP drops 27%. That runs until your 33rd birthday. And the country nearly collapses along with the world economy. Wow. We live through all that. When you're 39, World War II starts, and you aren't even over the hill yet, and you don't try to catch your breath. On your 41st birthday, the United States is fully pulled into World War II. Between your 39th and 45th birthday, 75 million people perish in the war.
75 million.
Yeah. When on your 50th birthday, the Korean War begins. Another 5 million perish. And at 55, the Vietnam War begins and doesn't end for 20 years. 4 million people perish in that conflict. On your 67th birthday, you have the Cuban Missile Crisis, a tipping point in the Cold War. Life on our planet as we know it should have ended. Great leaders prevented that from happening. When you turn 75, Vietnam War finally ends. Think of everyone on the planet born in 1900. How do you survive all that?
And today we think the world's coming to an end.
Oh, I know. All you need is a little sanitizer and
That's
clean,
right.
wash your hands, which you should do anyway. I mean,
Sure.
What cracks me up is driving down the street and seeing somebody all by themselves in their car wearing a mask and gloves, and it's like,
Yeah.
where's their head at?
You got the opposite end of the spectrum, those that are blatantly running around the grocery store and saying, how dare you make me put a mask on.
Right, yeah. Well, so the point of all this, folks, is the world's not coming to an end. We're going to live through it.
We will.
I've been in this business for 33 years. You've been in your business for...
About a dozen years now.
And you've been through ups and downs.
Several huge ones.
And your company continues to grow.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. The Rock and Roll Real Estate Hour is brought to you today by the musical insurance guy, Mr. Gary Rasmussen. You can reach him at 513-445-5045. So is the COVID-19 is changing the world as we once knew it, including insurance? Does it affect car, home, life, business, or all the above? Fill us in.
All the above. Even the life insurance, if a lot of people, we get a second wave this fall, that could change all the actuarial tables. We're hearing stories of life insurance applications being delayed, waiting to see what's going on before they grant that application. Mm-hmm. We're getting a lot more interest in life insurance. When you go on the news every single night and they're saying how many people died that day, like, man, what if that was me?
Yeah.
Well, we can help you with that.
Mm-hmm. So you're at Farmers Insurance. You have the Gary Rasmussen Agency at 513-445-5045. And you take care of car, home, life, business. Oh, we have a phone call. All right, good. Stephanie's on. She's got a question for you. Hey, good morning, Stephanie. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, we're doing fantastic.
Well, I had an insurance question for you.
All right, go for it.
I might have an insurance answer. Go for it, yes.
I hope so. I was recently in a car accident. The other driver was at fault.
Okay.
But we talked to our insurance company, and they advised us to run the claim through our insurance, and they would make it a not at fault claim for us so that it doesn't affect our premium. And then our insurance would bill the other driver's insurance, and they said that that's a quicker and easier process. I was just curious if that's true, and if so, how come that's the easier and quicker way to do it?
Well, in my agency, the way I usually operate in something like that, the other person's clearly at fault. If the other person is insured, the first thing I want to know is who is that other person's insurance company. If it's a mainline company, you'd probably be taken care of already. But if there's a whole bunch of these, I call them low-life companies, and there's a bunch of them out there. It's a claim. You could run the claim through them, but I know it's going to be a nightmare. And I will advise my customers exactly what you just were told. Hey, run it through us. We will take care of you. Now, there's pros and cons to that. You probably have like collision insurance with a deductible. So they wrote it up kind of like you're at fault with you paying the deductible up front. But then when they go after the other guy, assuming they collect, then you're going to get your deductible back. But if your insurance company is a good insurance company that will take good care of you, that can be the better way to go about it. So if you if it was an insurance company like Farmers, it was the other guy, and I know we're going to take good care of you, you could choose to go that way with it. Sometimes we'll go down that road. We'll start with the other guy's insurance company, and then hey, if they're not taking good care of you, they're not getting back to you, they're giving you lowball offers, they're just being hard to deal with, and we could still run it through us. And started at that time. So you have lots of options, but a lot of it depends upon what kind of companies you're dealing with.
Good answer. That helps, Stephanie?
Thank you. Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
Good. Hope we rest your mind at ease.
Thank you for calling.
Yeah, you bet.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. All right. So if anybody else has a question for Mr. Gary Rasmussen, call us at 513-563-1480. We do have some winners for the trivia question. We'll get to that right after this break. First, I'd like to express my gratitude to all the troops, the veterans, first responders, and our heroes in service and health care, like our nurses, doctors, nurses' aides, healthcare staff, the EMT staff, police and firefighters. So often they deal with life and death situations, and especially during our pandemic, thank them and keep them in your thoughts and prayers. After our break, a moment with Myles, and then Gary and I will talk about flood insurance. This is a huge thing. It makes a big difference, and I'll explain after our break. You're listening to the Rock and Roll Real Estate Hour on the official station for FC Cincinnati Soccer on WDJO 1480, now FM 995 and 107.9.
The knocking in the house is a rockin'. Don't you bother, come on in.
Farmers Insurance knows that when you're in the car and that song comes on, yes, that's the one, you have no choice but to pull out your imaginary drumsticks and smash those cymbals and stomp on that kick pedal, which unfortunately is the accelerator pedal. And we covered it. Talk to a farmer's agent who knows a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Call me, Gary Rasmussen, at 513-445-5045 or musicalinsuranceguy.com.
For the first time in 25 years, the Doobie Brothers, Tom Johnston, Michael McDonald, Pat Simmons, and John McPhee, 50th Anniversary Tour. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominees, the Doobie Brothers, with special guest, Dirty Dozen Brass Band. Riverbend Music Center, August 4th. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com.
If you suffer from chronic pain, anxiety, insomnia, or many other chronic conditions, CBD oil may be right for you. I'm Dan Beebe, owner of Save Discount Drugs in Covington. Save Discount Drugs proudly offers a full line of Ananda Professional CBD products. Safe, natural, and 100% legal in Kentucky, Ananda CBD oils are a full-spectrum hemp extract from 100% U.S.-grown hemp. So stop by and see us for your CBD needs or give us a call at 859-431-2857 to learn more about CBD. Save Discount Drugs also offers everyday low pricing on all of our prescription medications, and we can fill most prescriptions in 15 minutes or less. We have free parking behind our store with a convenient back entrance. Save Discount Drugs is located 4 doors north of the Madison Theater at 716 Madison Avenue in downtown Covington. That's Save Discount Drugs, 859-431-2857, or check us out online at savediscountdrugs.com.
Hi, Gary Heflin of Courtesy Automotive. I've been in the car business my whole life, and I've learned one thing. People just want a good car at a fair price, and they don't want to play any games. Call my team at Courtesy Automotive, and we'll do just that. Quality, pre-owned cars and trucks at a fair, low price. I personally inspect each and every vehicle while my technicians check it from bumper to bumper. So if you're looking for a full-service dealer that can get you financing and take care of all your auto service needs, call Courtesy Automotive at 871-3161. We're located on Madison Road in the heart of historic Oakley, and we've been there for over 51 years.
Hear what customers are saying.
What a wonderful hidden away spot. Nestled down a hallway, this little nook is almost like a speakeasy. Blink and you could miss the front door. You are greeted by low ceilings covered in copper cups and toy trains. There is a roaring fireplace in the middle that divides the two rooms, and the whole bar is about the size of your mom's basement, and it's perfect.
The Blind Lemon, open 7 nights a week. Live music 7 nights a week. The Blind Lemon, 936 Hatch, Mount Adams.
Get on. Let's rock the house.
Thanks for listening. You'll be glad you did. I'm your host, Gary Rossignol, with RE/MAX Preferred Group, better known as Cincinnati's Rock and Roll Realtor. And now, a moment we have been waiting for. This is the captain of our ship, Mr. Myles Beersford, with his Moment with Myles. Good morning, Myles.
Hey, Gary, rock and roll, my friend. Gary, someone once said, one of the things in life that is guaranteed is change. Home buyers are gradually reemerging, but the pandemic has shifted some of their housing preferences, according to the National Association of Realtors. Some realtors report that their clients have changed their neighborhood preferences from urban to suburban due to the pandemic. Also, 1 in 8 realtors surveyed say that buyers have changed at least one home feature that's important to them since the COVID-19 pandemic. The most common features identified are home offices, imagine that, yard space for existing or exercising and growing food, and more space to accommodate their family. Get to know a realtor and find out what may or may not be changing. And that's this morning's Moment with Myles.
Oh, good stuff, Myles. Thank you very much. He comes on every Saturday morning and gives us a little insight to what's going on in today's society. And along with his lovely wife, Christine Beersford, they are the owners of RE/MAX Preferred Group, the largest RE/MAX brokerage in the state of Ohio. And I'm so happy and proud to be part of that organization. They do a fantastic job. And thank you again, Myles, for coming on. We do have a caller on line 1. Oh, Joseph. Joseph, good morning, Joseph. Thanks for calling in.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we do.
Hey, so I had a question, and I'm sorry it's a little grim, but with people losing jobs and whatnot, or reduced income, do you suspect that this is going to flood the market with stressed sales? Will that have an impact on pricing? Obviously, there's going to be a surplus of homes available for purchase. What do you think that's going to do to the housing market? Not just in Ohio. I'm driving through on my way to Texas. So I'm nationwide.
That is a great question, Joseph. Thanks for calling in and asking that question. Okay, so how is the pandemic changing the face of the real estate industry today? We are seeing business as usual pretty much with social distancing. As far as the market itself, interest rates are still at an all-time low. Buyers are trying to take advantage of that. Just to give you a few facts, the week of April 28th to May the 4th, we had 692 new listings go on the market. We had
up or down from average, or
that's pretty average.
Typical.
That's pretty good. Okay. Yeah. We had new pending 650, and we had 570 closings. In that particular week, we had 14,310 showings. That was according to Showing Time with our Cincinnati Area Board of Realtors and our MLS. So
people personally going to a home?
Going looking at houses, yeah. 14,000 in 1 week.
Wow.
That's not bad. So, if you're thinking about selling a home, right now we are lacking inventory. They are selling like crazy. A new house went on the market for one of my buyers yesterday early afternoon. By 2 hours later, the entire day was booked with showings. We couldn't even fit in to go look at it because we don't allow overlapping showings. So if you schedule a showing from 8 to 9, no other realtor can show it. So from 8 this morning to 8:30 tonight, the schedule's full. You couldn't even look at it. Yeah. So you better believe that house will be sold before the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. So to answer your question, I
overpriced at all?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joseph.
I'd say, are buyers trying to negotiate prices lower than typical?
That's a good question as well. And, the sellers have not reduced their prices drastically because of COVID-19. The fact that there are so few listings available, they are staying right at the market value or a little above market value, and they're selling off the shelves. Now, if you overprice your home drastically, like if market value is like 150 to 160 and you price it at 200, it's right at the market value or a little above market value, and they're selling off the shelves. Now, if you overprice your home drastically. Like if market value is like 150 to 160 and you price it at 200, it's not going to be looked at because public has access to market values. You can do your research, and if you're working with a realtor, they will know what market value should be for that house. If you price your home at market value, you're going to get it sold very quickly. But that's a great question.
Well, awesome. I appreciate your help, guys.
All right. Thanks for calling in, Joseph. Appreciate that. And you travel safely.
Thank you, sir.
All right. You bet. So that's the way things are right now. We're just
where they're going to go in the future. I guess if you got a good crystal ball, you might know, right?
Right, exactly. I mean, I met with a young family yesterday morning, and they bought their house 5 years ago in Fairfield. They paid $158 for it then. They've new roof, new siding, repainted the inside, new kitchen appliances, fix it up. And their family's growing, and they want to buy a larger home. My market value showed around $220 market value for their house.
Wow.
Yeah. So they're
That's
excited.
In 5 years?
That's in 5 years.
Now, they put a lot of money in it, but it's paid back. They're getting it all back pretty much.
Absolutely.
And then some.
Yeah, absolutely. And then they'll have some money for down payment to get their bigger and better home, the one that they want to move into, so they can have a larger family. And so that's
virus or no virus. We're moving on.
We move on. That's right. You bet. So, thanks for listening. Thanks for calling in. The Rock and Roll Real Estate Hour is brought to you today by the musical insurance guy, Mr. Gary Rasmussen, at 513-445-5045.
Or musicalinsurancegu.com.
There you go. Later on in the show, we're going to have Bill Kerrigan with the Dragonfly Foundation stop in and tell us what's going on with their organization. You don't want to miss that. Next week, my guest is John Cordell. He's the owner of Inspection Plus and Advanced Radon Testing. So we're going to get that side of what's going on, and they're busy as all get out.
Yeah.
Now, just some new practices. I'd like to say thanks for Mike Little for watching, Amy Hefner, Kevin Powers, Richard Cox, Phil Moracle, past president of the Board of Realtors, Carol Schilling, Stephanie Benson. We got people watching, hundreds of them. Oh, yeah, we got winners for the trivia question. The answer was who recorded Uptown Girl? The answer was Billy Joel. And David Ernst got himself a $10 gift card to Starbucks. Frank Reeder, Joe Quatmeyer, and Howard Seward. Bunch of winners.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the way we like to do it in here in the Rock and Roll Real Estate Hour. So, Gary, I had a buyer that was looking to build a house. I had him call you a couple weeks ago to check on flood zones, and lo and behold, right across the street was a...
They're right on the edge of it.
Yeah.
And they've chosen to go elsewhere.
Right.
And they were clearly out of the flood zone. But they weren't comfortable being that close.
Right across the street was a flood zone.
So there was a creek that was over there, and they do the analysis, and the odds of there being a flood at a certain level is 1 in 100 in a year. Sometimes they call it the 100-year floodplain. That's a little bit misnomer, but and it appeared to me to be just below where the house, even basement floor, would be. They were probably fine. But in their case, they're going to spend a lot of money on a house, and I think they chose to go a little bit higher than that.
Right. So if you're buying a house and you have any question if where you're buying or going to build might be in or near a flood zone, I recommend before you do your home inspection, before you lock in your interest rate, call your insurance guy. Call Gary Rasmussen at 513-445-5045. You have the FEMA flood maps.
We do? Yes.
You can tell them if that address falls into that zone or not.
Yes.
And let them know what their flood insurance might cost them if they were to proceed.
You're exactly right.
There you go. That's all we want to let you know. So don't touch that dial. I have my music history coming up, and then Gary and I are going to discuss spring cleaning for your insurance policies. Very, very important this time of year. You're listening to the Rock and Roll Real Estate Hour on the official station for FC Cincinnati Soccer on WDJO 1480, now FM 995 and 107.9.
Why rent when you can own with no money down? If you're looking to become a first-time homeowner in the Cincinnati or Northern Kentucky areas, or heck, even if you haven't owned a home in the past 3 years and are now looking to buy, you may be eligible to receive up to $15,000 in homeowners assistance towards closing costs, pre-closing expenses, or even your whole down payment. That's right, you can own your own home with no money down. Find out if you qualify. Call Gary at 513-777-2402. That's Gary at 513-777-2402.
Renfro Valley Entertainment Center presents Billy Crash Craddock, Friday, June the 12th. Tickets on sale now at RenfroValley.com. Billy Crash Craddock is one of the most exciting entertainers in music today with 9 #1 records and 18 top 10s. Crash is the ultimate entertainer, and he'll be singing the hits like Rub It In, Knock 3 Times,
3 times on the ceiling if you want me,
and Ruby Baby. Billy Crash Craddock, Friday, June 12th at Renfro Valley Entertainment Center. Tickets on sale now at RenfroValley.com.
Hi, this is Mark Elliott from the WDJO Morning Show. I buy things online all the time. Books, clothes. Why not a car? So I thought I need a car. I started looking at used cars online, Craigslist and things like that. And then I thought, I don't know anything about cars. How do I know I'm not getting ripped off? So when I got this car, it had like a 7-day return. I immediately took it to John Nolan Auto Service. They looked it over from top to bottom. They checked everything, the tires, the transmission, all those words under the hood that I can't pronounce and know anything about. They gave me a complete list of what was wrong with the car. So I knew if it was the right deal or not. They really helped me out. And they'll do the same thing for you for just $59. It costs a lot more than that to get it inspected. But right now, for WDJO listeners only, so tell them you listen to WDJO, they'll do the inspection for you, whether you're buying a car from Craigslist or a dealer or anybody else. 859-291-8833. That's their number. They're in Newport, 859-291-8833. A $59 inspection of the car you want to buy, available now from John Nolan Auto Service. Town Properties is proud of creating truly great places to live, work, shop, and play. Town has the undisputed title of the region's most honored developer and manager. Rent an apartment with Town at the Lofts at Chilito Place, the Gramercy, the Greenwich, the Groton, all in downtown, or nearby at Delta Flats, DeSales Flats, Mount Adams, or Roebling Row in Covington. Find yourself among the jewels of the Queen City. Bars, restaurants, concerts, sports. Select a studio, 1-bedroom, 2 or 3-bedroom apartment home. Visit townproperties.com. Town Properties, great places to live.
Awareness of electrical hazards in your home is the first step to reducing dangerous shock and electrical-related home fires. Cooper Electric is a Greater Cincinnati provider of Current Safe, an in-depth test of your home's electrical system utilizing revolutionary methods of testing that offers homeowners the opportunity to detect electrical hazards before they become a problem. Trust the electrician with over 70 years' experience. Cooper Electric makes safety a top priority in your home by having it become Current Safe. For no-cost consultation, visit cooper-electric.net.
You know what time it is. It's music history time. So this is what happened today. Back in 1964, Louis Armstrong went to #1 on the U.S. singles chart with Hello Dolly, making him the oldest artist to hit #1 at the age of 62. And in 2011, 85-year-old Tony Bennett broke this record when his Duets album topped the U.S. album chart. Good for them. Yes. Today in 1970, Guess Who started a 3-week run at #1 on the U.S. singles chart with American Woman. It was the group's 6th top 30 hit and only chart topper. The song was born by accident when guitarist Randy Bachman was playing a heavy riff on stage after he had broken a string, and the other members joined in on the jam. A fan in the audience who had recorded the gig on tape presented it to the group after the show, and they developed it into a full song. Today in 1973, this is cool, Mick Jagger added $150,000 of his own money to the $350,000 that was given by the Rolling Stones in January benefit concert for victims of the Nicaraguan earthquake.
Wow.
Today in 1974, Bonnie Raitt played 2 shows at Harvard Square Theater in Cambridge, Massachusetts. The opening act was unknown Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. Rolling Stone critic John Landau saw the Springsteen and wrote, "I have seen rock and roll's future," and his name is Bruce Springsteen. Today in 1976, we know this song. Former lead singer of The Loving Spoonful, John Sebastian, went to #1 on the U.S. singles chart with Welcome Back, taken from the U.S. TV show, one of my favorites, Welcome Back, Kotter. Today in 1980, I Don't Like Mondays by the Boomtown Rats won the Best Pop Song and Outstanding British Lyric categories at the 25th Ivor Novello Awards. And Supertramp's The Logical Song won Best Song musically and lyrically. Boomtown Rats lead singer Bob Geldof was inspired to write the song after reading about the tragic shooting spree when 16-year-old Brenda Spencer killed 2 people and wounded 9 others when she fired from her house across the street onto the entrance of San Diego's Grover Cleveland Elementary School. Today in 1982, Vangelis went to #1 on the U.S. singles chart with Chariots of Fire. It was his only #1. Vangelis was accused of plagiarizing Chariots of Fire from a song by fellow Greek composer Stavros Lagardis called City of Violets. Vangelis won in court by convincing the judge to allow him to bring his keyboard setup into the court to demonstrate his method of composing by improvising new music.
Wow.
There you go. Yeah.
I didn't know that at all.
I know.
You always come up with such neat stuff.
Today in 2013, a painting by Fernand Léger, owned by Madonna, sold for $7.2 million in New York. The singer bought the 1921 Cubist work, Three Women at the Red Table, in 1990 for $3.4 million. According to Sotheby's, proceeds from the sale would benefit Madonna's Ray of Light Foundation, supporting girls' education projects in the Middle East and South Asia. And born on this day in 1949, American singer-songwriter Billy Joel, who had the 1980 #1 single, It's Still Rock and Roll to Me, and the 1983 #1 single, Uptown Girl, plus 20 other top 40 singles and 4 #1 albums. So there you have it. I hope you found these bits of music history as interesting as I did when researching them to share with you today. And I am Gary Rossignol, your host every Saturday morning. I'm called the Rock and Roll Realtor because I play with the greatest classic rock band, Bluestone Ivory. Go to bluestoneivory.com.
They are the best.
Well, we try. There's a lot of good musicians, a lot of great bands in Cincinnati, and we're just waiting, chomping at the bit to get out there and play. You can go to our website. What we are playing, where we are playing will be posted there. If you say happy anniversary or happy birthday or happy Mother's Day, which is tomorrow, say it with flowers. Call Let's Flowers at 513-921-0561. They are delivering, and I talked with Carol last week, and they are busy.
Yes.
No walk-in traffic, but their drivers are just having a blast.
All right.
So call them and make sure you say hi and happy Mother's Day with flowers from Let's Flower House. The Rock and Roll Real Estate Hour is brought to you today by the musical insurance guy, Mr. Gary Rasmussen, 513-445-5045. We haven't done the thing yet. We are Weavers. Bump, bum, 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 bum. There we
got it. Yeah.
The music.
Speaking of flowers.
Yes.
You
don't want to announce that. Absolutely. Go for it.
One of the orchestras that my insurance agency sponsors is the Southwest Ohio Philharmonic Orchestra, and they are doing a fundraiser right now. They are selling geraniums. You could have a nice geranium and support the orchestra. So if you go to swopphil, SWOPHIL.org, that will, you get to the website, and there's geraniums that are there. If you order them this week, we're going to be delivering them the following Saturday. And I have all sorts of options. The primary space they're going to be available in is in Middletown. But if you wanted to order it and, for example, have it at my office in Mason, I can make arrangements.
There you go.
And I'll make you a deal, and we'll make sure we get those to you. But
just call you?
Yes. Yeah, certainly call. Yeah, call my office. Call the SWAP, Southwest Ohio Philharmonic. Go to the website, any of those things. We'll get you going.
And what a fitting time to do that. Springtime. Mother's Day. Little belated Mother's Day present. Absolutely. So spring cleaning of your insurance policies. Number one question, is my home covered for its full rebuilding cost? Well, you pay $250,000 for a house. They call you, and you're going to insure the house for
maybe $350,000.
Yeah, why?
Well, it usually costs a whole lot more to build a brand new one than to buy a used one.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do is we calculate what would it take to put a brand new in there. If you want a replacement cost policy, and incidentally, you can insure it on a used basis if you want. But most homeowners like to have replacement costs. The idea being something terrible happens, I want a brand new one sitting there just like the one I had.
You have to remember the teardown costs for what's left and preparing to rebuild your home. You're looking anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000 just to demolish it and haul it off and get the lot prepared to start building.
All those things are figured into that. So whether it's something like a fire or a tornado, poof, it's gone. What does it take to make a brand new one there? So that's what we do. Now, what I see happen a lot of times, I see home insurance policies, and it has the words replacement cost on it. But that number that's there, which is the maximum they're going to pay to replace it, won't replace it.
Is what you paid for it.
It could be, yes. I've seen it that way. Now you get into another part of the calculation, and that's certainly the value of the building. I'm sorry, the value of the property.
Mm-hmm.
So if your house is worth $250,000, that lot might be worth $50,000.
Mm-hmm.
So really, the used value of the house is $200,000, but it still might take $300,000 to replace that building. But the ground, actually, insurance doesn't cover the ground.
Right.
That's a kind of a separate calculation. So if you're on a lot that's worth a lot of money, that can tweak the calculations there a little bit.
I've seen some lots there's some neighborhoods in Montgomery where you have new $600,000 to $1 million homes going up in these neighborhoods, and there's still about a dozen little 3-bedroom ranches sitting on those lots.
Mm-hmm.
And those lots are going for $250,000 alone. Then you have to tear down the house and build your new home. We're talking big bucks.
They're paying $250,000 just for a third acre lot or maybe a half acre lot, somewhere in that range.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So call Gary Rasmussen at 513-445-5045, and you will take a look at their insurance, wherever they're insured, just to give them a checkup.
What we do is we help you be right insured at the lowest cost possible. So I can always get you cheaper, but is that appropriate? Maybe, maybe not. And that's what we do.
You want to know your options.
We are passionate about helping you understand your options.
I know. My clients call you, and they say, I was on the phone for him for 40 minutes.
So if you take it from a minimum standpoint, if it's paid for, if there's no mortgage, there's no law that says you have to have insurance on it at all.
Right.
So if you have a loan on it, typically the amount that's the minimum required is going to be what the bank owes.
Right.
So if you got a $200,000 house and a $150,000 mortgage, if you had insurance for $150,000, bank's happy.
You're out of luck.
Right, but if you have to replace it, you're out of luck. But the bank would be happy because all they care about is their money.
Exactly.
They could also care less about your stuff, your liability, loss of use, and 2 pages of other things.
The jewelry, the musical insurances,
That's right.
the woodworking equipment, the vehicles sitting in the garage, and all that stuff gets factored in. Oh, my gosh. So call Gary Rasmussen this week. No matter who you're insured with, he will do a spring cleaning checkup on what you are insured for.
We'd be glad to give you a review.
513-445-5045.
Or musicalinsuranceguy.com.
There you go. That's it. Stay tuned. Don't touch that dial. Next, we're going to have a little visit with Bill Kerrigan of the Dragonfly Foundation, and we're going to share some neat things that are happening at the landing, thanks to you, Gary. And so don't touch that dial. You're listening to the Rock and Roll Real Estate Hour on the official station for FC Cincinnati Soccer on WDJO 1480, now on FM 995 and 107.9.
Farmers Insurance knows that when you're in the car and that song comes on, yes, that's the one. You have no choice but to pull out your imaginary drumsticks and smash those cymbals and stomp on that kick pedal, which unfortunately is the accelerator pedal. And we covered it. Talk to a farmer's agent who knows a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Call me, Gary Rasmussen, at 513-445-5045 or musicalinsuranceguy.com.
From a time when you were lost in love, Air Supply brings it all together again. The Lost in Love Experience. Friday, July 10th, Rose Music Center at the Heights. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com and RoseMusicCenter.com. Air Supply.
When you need the expertise of a top-notch plumbing company, it's Zinn's Plumbing you ought to call. Oh, they may be at the bottom of the alphabetical listing, but the service and pricing of Zinn's Plumbing puts them at the head of the class. They don't keep you waiting for hours on end on appointment calls. Zinn's Plumbing works within a 2-hour time frame, so you don't waste your time waiting for a service technician. And when a Zinn's plumber comes to solve your problem, you can feel confident the job will be done right. With Zinn's Plumbing, you'll always know what the cost will be before they start. They bill on a flat rate basis instead of an inefficient hourly billing system. Zinn's state-of-the-art trucks carry thousands of parts to complete your job with no needless delays. Well-trained professional plumbing technicians and courteous customer service are the hallmark of Zinn's Plumbing. It's a local family business proudly serving Greater Cincinnati since 1976. They can probably schedule your appointment today. Give Zinn's Plumbing a call at 681-2501. 681-2501. Zinn's Plumbing.
Let's see here. Fire protection?
Check.
Uniforms, mats, and restroom products?
Check.
First aid cabinets and safety products?
Check.
Great! So it sounds like we're ready to go.
No. When I said check, I meant we still need to check on all those things.
Just call Cintas. They can handle all of it. It's what they do.
Okay. Call Cintas. Check. Got it.
Oh, I'm ready.
Learn how Cintas can help you get ready for the workday. Visit Cintas.com.
Why rent when you can own with no money down? If you're looking to become a first-time homeowner in the Cincinnati or Northern Kentucky areas, or heck, even if you haven't owned a home in the past 3 years and are now looking to buy, you may be eligible to receive up to $15,000 in homeowners assistance towards closing costs, pre-closing expenses, or even your whole down payment. That's right, you can own your own home with no money down. Find out if you qualify. Call Gary at 513-777-2402. That's Gary at 513-777-2402.
Get on. Let's rock the house.
Hey, we've been rocking and rolling this morning, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to the Rock and Roll Real Estate Hour with the musical insurance guy, Mr. Gary Rasmussen. His number is 513-445-5045. You should have that memorized by now. And this part of the show I always dedicate to the Dragonfly Foundation because they support pediatric cancer families and patients by building a network that connects Dragonfly families to each other and the community, providing programs that enhance quality of life, enhancing programs and partner with Children's Hospital and partnering with them, which is the greatest children's hospital in the entire country, maybe even the world. But we were going to have Bill Kerrigan call in. He hasn't called in yet, but if you want to help the Dragonfly Foundation, you can do that right now. Just text the word WINGS15 to 71777, and you can donate. Every little $5 gift is worth $1 million to them. And I'll tell you what, I can tell you this much. Most nonprofits, if you donate $1, probably 35 cents to 50 cents goes to where it needs to go. At the Dragonfly Foundation, 86.5% goes to where it needs to go. They run on a lot of volunteers and major donations and things like, when they moved into the landing, which is at 506 Oak Street,
right across from the Vernon Manor.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful old mansion.
Big old mansion.
And they needed that space. They need to be closer to Children's Hospital. And one of the dreams that Christine Knightsky had was that they had a grand piano, player piano, for the families to enjoy.
That's right.
To put the little bit of musical culture into the landing. And they reached out, and they were pricing them, and they were, to get a nice grand piano, player piano combination, you're looking at $100-120
At least the one she wanted, yes.
I mean, that's a huge donation from somebody, and people just weren't.
And they need a lot of money for that building right now.
I got the word out and chatted with Gary, because Gary Rasmussen, the musical insurance guy, specializes in those kind of musical toys.
Right.
And it's not a toy. This is a major piece of musical equipment.
Oh, yes.
And lo and behold, you found.
Yep.
Tell us about it.
Well, we were, it was maybe 6 months ago, I suppose, on this radio program, sitting right here in this studio. And Dragonfly was talking about wanting a player piano. And she put out the want. And I said, let me see what I can do. So what we found was an antique. It's a 1925, I believe, Duo Art Grand. And Dragonfly was talking about wanting a player piano. And she put out the want. And I said, let me see what I can do. So what we found was an antique. It's a 1925, I believe, Duo Art Grand player piano. What that is it's a... this is like the Cadillac of player pianos of the 1920s. And this particular one had been impeccably restored. We're talking about completely with the new hammers and new strings, of course, refinished inside and out, and every little thing made brand new a couple of decades ago. And the piano had been largely just sitting for the last decade or so.
Oh, man.
Anyway, that piano is now at Dragonfly.
Wow. That's huge.
And at no charge to Dragonfly. In fact, even the moving of it, we got donated. So
that is, oh my gosh.
So now what they need is some money to finish the space they want to put it in. It's over in the carriage house right now, which is unfinished space.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to put it in that third floor ballroom. And that was made into offices way back when, and now they want to bring it back to its original grandeur. All they need is a bunch of money to get the space filled up, and then we're going to have this fancy, impeccably restored player piano.
I can just imagine when that ballroom is finished on the third floor. It's a huge open space where they can have functions and dances and parties, and that grand piano sitting in the corner, spotlighted, and having a function and having that player piano playing some old jazz or some upbeat type
oh, yes. Songs. They got a bunch of rolls with it, too, and I'll be contributing some more.
And it'll just take standard player piano rolls, right?
Yes.
Man, that is... Thank you, Gary.
So there's two levels. You get into the technicalities. A Duo Art is actually a system that actually reproduces the artist's touch. So when you have a Duo Art roll, usually they're the classical ones, all the little softs and the louds and everything. It reproduces all that perfectly.
Wow.
But it also will play what we call an 88-note roll, which is just at a volume. You can change the volume up and down, but you don't have the nuances built into it.
But this one does.
Oh, yes, this will do that.
Wow.
It'll play both kinds of roles.
Oh, my gosh, that's huge. So thank you very much. That's great.
As a result of you. You made it happen, Mr. Rossignol.
We just do what we can do to help the cause. And, they do such great work, because if you're anywhere in the country and your child gets ill and you go to the doctor and they diagnose your child that has some kind of cancer or blood disease, they're going to tell you right then and there, you need to get your child to Children's Hospital in Cincinnati. You're going to drop everything. You're going to leave your job. You're going to leave your home. You're going to pack what you can think of and head to Cincinnati. And when you show up in Cincinnati, there's stuff that you forget about. And the first thing you're going to get when you get checked in at Children's Hospital is this big blue bag. And in that blue bag is all the essentials that you probably left behind that you need, including things like gas cards, phone chargers, hairspray, hair brushes, and toothpaste, and face soap, and cleansers, and all the things that will help you sustain while you're at that stay in the hospital. And then you meet other volunteers who have been there and done that, and they're going to let you know it's okay. Then you're going to have access to a place like the Landing, where Friday nights they have parents' night out. They let the kids stay there and play. They got various rooms with all kinds of computer toys and everything to keep the kids occupied and happy and safe, and parents can go out and have a night out on their own. What I experienced in my profession, I remember a family years ago, their child had some major surgery. Their doctor bills were astronomical. I mean, we're talking $300,000-$400,000 that the insurance didn't cover. So
It'll
parents
financially destroy most people.
Yeah. The parents start bickering. They end up in a divorce. They can't pay their mortgage. They lose their house. The patient, the child who is suffering, he feels at fault. Now, this is not a good thing.
Right.
If there's any other siblings, they get left unattended to, and they feel like they're slighted. And the patient themselves is feeling like it's their fault. The whole psyche of the family and the patient and life as it should be doesn't happen. So the Dragonfly Foundation, they recognize that situation, and they step in and they let them know it's okay. They distract them from their disease. They take them to concerts, to shows, to ball games. They have the backing of the Cincinnati Bengals, the Cincinnati Reds, the Cincinnati Symphony, and it's through your donations, ladies and gentlemen, to help that happen. So every $5 is a big help.
$500 or $5,000.
Exactly. Let's go big, right? So text the word WINGS15 to 71777. Donate $5 this afternoon. Go to dragonfly.org, and they have everything on there that you need to know. I'd like
You're doing amazing work over there.
I'd like to thank Gary Rasmussen, the musical insurance guy.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. Thank you.
My houses are rocking because the buyers keep on knocking, so I'm open for business. Find me online at rockncincy.com or call 777-2402. Don't forget to hug your kids, call your parents, kiss your spouse every day, and wash your hands constantly. Don't forget tomorrow's Mother's Day.
Mother's Day, yes.
We got all the kids and grandkids coming over with pizzas and salads and stuff. That's going to be great. Next week, we got John Cordell with the Inspections Plus, and coming up next is Wesley Adams and the Car Tech Show. Now more than ever, they have shown us that they are superheroes. Thank you to all the nurses who serve on the front lines every day. Happy Nurses Week this week. This is the end of Make Me Smile, titled Now More Than Ever for You, featuring the late, great Ted Donahue fronting Bluestone Ivory.